I'm Homer Hurt. I was, for several years, the president of Riverway South, Apalachicola Choctahatchee Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes rural tourism in an area covered by 9 counties. It's a very vital part for this part of the state. We are relatively new at this. We started out as promoting the counties that were riparian counties on the Apalachicola River. That was the 6 counties along the river itself. Then we picked up 2 more that brought us into the Choctahatchee River Basin. And after that, we had 1 more county join, and that was South Walton. So we ended up with 9 counties altogether. We have representatives from each county. Usually the head of the Tourist Development Council is one of our board members. The others can be at large or have interest just simply in tourism. And we're very interested in tourism because that is a money-making thing for this area. And we had a speaker one time who talked about Interstate 10, and she called it something that was very important. I have with me today our Vice President, Pam Fuquay, and what did Judy Randall call?
Well, hello, Homer. Thank you for having me here with you for the Riverway South catch-up. Judy Randall called it the River of Money. It would be I-10. With the amount of travelers going east and west that they're stopping here, they're spending their money, and we want them to stay an extra day or 2.
That's right. And how many did she tell us? There were about 3 million a year?
It was an amazing, yes, it was amazing statistics. Yeah, and 231 is the road to the beaches, and so we've got them here. We've got the crossroads right here in Jackson County, which is one of the 9 counties for the Riverway South Basin. And it's amazing that the people that come through here, that we need to get them to stop and see. And the ones that do, the ones that stop and kayak and canoe and hike, fish, and they're amazed at the beauty that we have here.
That's right. It's one author one time called the Apalachicola River Florida's Mountain River. And we have that. If you haven't been there lately, go down to Tarria Park.
Ooh, it's
see
so
that.
pretty.
That's people trained for the Appalachian Trail at Tarria Park, right here in Alpharetta,
Right, in the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
And actually, Gadsden County is in the process of making a trail from, is it Chattahoochee all the way down to Fort Gadsden? Is that
We
correct?
hope it will be, yes, it's very close to being delineated, and we hope when we get that, it will be tied into the Florida trails itself,
Yes.
which will cover the entire state of Florida.
And the beauty of those trails is that there's elevation, whereas the trails along the beach, and in Florida, we're sea level, but these trails in that particular area along Apalachicola, they actually have elevation. And that's something that a hiker's looking for.
So you spoke of beaches. Now, I know you at one time were probably a beach bunny. You knew all the good beaches. Not that you're not too
I had the
popular.
wrinkles to prove it.
That's right. But we think about ourselves as being woodlands and rivers and so forth. But talk about the shoreline that we have.
You're right. We have the combination of the great oaks and the fresh waters and the fresh lakes. And then we have some of the most beautiful beaches in the state right here within our basin. We have Walton County going all the way over to Franklin County.
And the sand is white as compared to dark gray on the Atlantic.
Oh, yeah.
And year after year, one of the top 10 beaches in Florida will be out of our area. St. George Island, Apalachicola area, all the way over to Walton. And it's just something that we have for everyone. And I've often made the comment that someone comes down Highway 231 and stops at the Visitor Center there, which is run by Visit Florida, and we'll talk about them. And they're looking for 2 animals.
Let me guess. We're looking for the alligator?
That's right. And Mickey Mouse.
And Mickey Mouse.
Well, we can't give them Mickey Mouse, but we've got alligators. Lake Seminole, which would be the 2nd biggest lake in Florida if it were all within Florida, has something like 10,000 alligators. And folks just want to see an alligator. And they're willing to pay to see alligators. They're willing to pay to go canoeing and fishing and to just see what we have.
We say you can pay for the alligators and the snakes are free.
That's right. So we have some pictures that you have taken because you're now in the private enterprise part, but still a vice president.
Right. I began my stint with Riverway South as, what was I? I guess I was the member belonging to Jackson County when I was
Right.
TDC.
Yeah.
Yes, and enjoyed it. And enjoyed Riverway South so much that now I'm an at-large member.
Right. And she is vice president, which means she will succeed
VP.
she will succeed to the presidency, or as Pogo used to call it, the presidency
One day.
next year. And one thing that we have done, we get money from the state of Florida through DEO, Department of Economic Opportunities. It is matched with money from the counties that get money from, that get funds from the heads and beds tax.
Right.
So the visitors actually pay for the tourism that we have here. So we match that together, and we have objectives that we hand in. And if the state approves it, we go out for these goals that we've set down. This is our 5th year, I believe, of goals, but we've reached beyond that too.
Well, it's an amazing leap when you mentioned 5 years and what we've accomplished in that time. You know, it took a couple years to get up and running, and now that's where we are. We are up and running, and we're starting some marketing programs, and we're showing off. We're getting on TV. We're doing some videos and doing some digital, and we have a fantastic, impressive new website.
Yes, we do. And that was my dream, even though I don't know how to run a website. I have to
But
call
it's up. Your dream, and that part is complete. Yeah.
My grandson can come in and help me on that. But we do have a good website. We're interconnecting now. We've hired people to do that, so that if you're just looking alligators, West Florida, you can click on that. And it'll take you to our website, we hope, and you can find them. And we've got other things. If you come into Jackson County, and I'm going to use that, but we have other counties. But if you come into Jackson County from Highway 231, coming south, and you get to Campbellton, 4.5 miles from there is a place that will rent you kayaks, will provide a place for you to sleep. During the season, we'll take you hunting.
And let me stop you and brag just a minute on that visitor center. That particular one on Highway 231 is the only one in the state that is not on an interstate.
So that
It's on
sort
a
of belongs to
highway.
us, doesn't it?
Except, yeah, there are actually 4, and the other one is in
In the capital.
the capital,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll get, and it's much smaller.
But I
Yeah.
claim that one there at Campbellton as ours.
Oh,
And the
I
people
thought you
there-
were in the
yeah.
capital. That was a Homer Hurt Visitor Center.
The people there at Campbellton know us. That
Oh,
they
they're
work
wonderful,
hard.
wonderful.
Uh,
And they tell us that people are always looking for somewhere to go locally to eat,
Yeah,
things to do around here. And so they're a big part of us, and they love to promote us.
that's right. We've been to meetings with other counties where someone from our other areas, where each county representative would stand up and talk about springs and talk about rivers. We have something other than just that. Although we've got beautiful springs, we've got a string of them down on Highway 20 that I call the string of pearls, because there's small springs there that have picnic areas and bathing areas. But we have some other things that's so unusual. Can you tell us about any of those?
The alligators, what are you talking about? Which particular one along
Thinking
Highway?
about the wolf preserve.
Oh, well, you go right ahead. I won't take that from
All
you.
right.
That's your favorite.
I've been volunteering at the wolf preserve down below Wausau. Now, everyone knows where Wausau is because that's the possum capital of the world. But down at Seacrest Wolf Preserve, some fine folks went in there to help preserve the gray wolf. And they've done a very good job. It's private, it receives no state or federal money. They do meet all requirements, but they breed the wolves. They get them not tame, but where they're accustomed to people. And this is the only place in the 48 states, the lower 48, where you can go into a 2 to 4 acre enclosure and sit down, and a gray wolf will come up and sit on the log by you and look you in the face. And if you want some excitement, have one of those wolves. Those wolves weigh 100 pounds or better.
Wow.
And their jaw pressure is like 1,600 pounds per square inch. But they relate to human beings because they have a family. They have the alpha male, alpha female.
Mm-hmm.
They raise their pups, and they raise them in discipline. So I love it. I just go there on Saturdays.
Yes, you do.
And it's it renews me when I sort of get down on the human race. But we have that, and we have people from Germany.
Yeah, they all
We
come.
have people from England, from Canada, coming in there. And the last time I was there were some people from Italy that had come down to study how Seacrest was doing their wolf preserve.
That's amazing.
So-
Well, you mentioned that that's something unique that's in Washington County. Well, here in Jackson County, our uniqueness are obviously the Florida caverns. And then Walton County is part of us, and their uniqueness is the coastal lakes. There's only one other place in the world that has lakes similar to that, and I believe it's over in Africa. And then over in Franklin County, their uniqueness is the oyster bedding.
That's right.
So we're a nice, very unique group.
Franklin County has an estuarine sanctuary. This is federally operated and funded, but it is to preserve the nature base of the estuary, the bay at Apalachicola. It's a hard fought over water situation there, but they preserve what we have always had, and you can go there and take tours, walking tours. You can learn about what we have here in this part of Florida. And we do have something that's so unusual. I like to tell people that when you go down to the beach, whether it's one of our beaches or someone else's, and you get sunburned, get on a bus or get in your car, come up here under the shade of our oak trees and enjoy life, because
Spend
we
the
do.
day
We
here.
have the great plantations. We have places like the Fudak Springs that's, you remember what Chautauquas were?
Oh, well, yeah, that was the winery. And then Defuniak Springs actually has the second most circularist.
Perfect circle. Lake.
Yeah.
But the Chautauquas back in the early 1900s were centers of learning and action.
Oh,
They
is
started
that
up
what
in
you're-
North New
right,
York.
right. I thought you
And-
meant the wine.
Oh, well, I'm all for that too.
That's a good stop,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have so much, and we have a website that you can learn from. Now, we also learned something else from Judy Randall at one of the meetings. When we had a couple of big meetings where she came in and imparted her knowledge to us. But one of them, we had someone stood up after listening to her and talking about tourism, and they stood up and gave a remark about the limits of tourism. You remember what
The limits of tourism. I don't remember the limits.
you
Fill
do.
me in. Well,
That there are no county
oh, no,
boundaries.
county boundaries. Absolutely.
tourism.
When you meant limits, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought a spending limit.
Right.
Okay, no, there are no county boundaries. Actually, there are no boundaries when you're a tourist. When you're a visitor, you don't care if the county line is between here and there. When you are going somewhere to your destination, you're good. So we like to refer to Riverway South more as a region and promoting the things to do rather than in particular counties.
Right. We've got a couple of things coming up, and I want to quickly, while we're on that, we here in Mariana, in Jackson County, we have St. Luke's Cemetery. It goes back to before the
Nice
time
historic, yes.
of the Battle of Mariana, and it's historic. The people that died in that battle, some of them are buried there. There's a small monument, tombstone to General Andrew Jackson's captain of artillery at the Battle of New Orleans in 1814. Did you know that?
I did not
Did
know
you know
that.
that the only Confederate governor of the state of Florida tomb is there?
Yes, I did know
All
that,
right.
and that
Now-
is in Milton.
So you come in and you're looking at tombstones, and that's your thing. And at my age, that's not my thing. But you're looking at tombstones, you're looking for them. So where do you go? Well, that's about it. You know, you can, okay. But then all of a sudden you hear about a little town called Chattahoochee. And over there is a very, very small graveyard. And in it is buried a man who got the Congressional Medal of Honor during the Civil War. And he's buried there because he was in the fort during the Civil War. And right outside of that is another little cluster of graves with the crew members of the CSS Chattahoochee that blew up on the Apalachicola River.
Okay.
And they were scalded, burned to death, and they're buried there. And then if you really want to get down into the tombstone business, go down to Alpha. And then down in Alpha, you can walk out in a churchyard there, and you'll see a tombstone to a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Can you find anything more varied than that?
Whew.
Ooh.
Let's move on to Visit Florida.
All right,
We have
Visit
some
Florida.
exciting news about Visit Florida.
Yes, we did. So tell us about that.
Okay, well, Riverway South is proud to say that we are sponsors with,
And partners.
I guess, yeah, we more so call it a partnership.
Yeah.
A partnership with Visit Florida. And this year, 2017, we are going to hit the road. And what I mean by that is we are heading to trade shows to promote our region. So Riverway South, along with Natural North Florida, which are the counties over there by, let's see, Jefferson down to Taylor County. We've partnered with them as well, and we are all going to these trade shows to tell them about the rural region of Florida.
This is probably the most exciting thing that's happened. I don't like to use that word. I don't like to use the
Yeah,
word
because you don't like to be
thrilling. I don't
excited,
get
but it
thrilled.
is. It truly
But
is
it
exciting.
We are taking our story outside of the physical boundaries of our 9 county district.
And last year I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Philadelphia, and I went with Natural North Florida and saw how all the things are run. So soon I will be going to another trade show, and on behalf of Riverway South.
And where is
telling
that
them
going to be?
Well, the one I will be attending is in Atlanta. It's a camping and RV show. And then some of our other clan, they are heading they are heading up to Nashville for their camping and RV show.
No.
And we're going to Toronto, Berlin. Ooh.
Why are we going to Berlin?
Well, Berlin, that's a big one. That is the International Travel Show. And you spend a week over there just tooting your horn. It's a big, big deal. You have a week to talk to the press, and then you go out and you talk to the public. So it's so exciting that we're able to go. And the Germans love Florida. They come in droves. And speaking of coming in droves, is one thing the Germans love to do is they fly to either a big city, either Miami or Orlando, and then they love to rent a car and be like a local with a little German accent and ride the roads. And they love to go to Apalachicola, and they have enough time that they head over to New Orleans.
That's right. And most of the foreign countries, the European countries, the people there get a month off of vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never had a month off for anything in my life
Right.
since I was born. But they get that month off, and they come in, they select a place they've heard of. They've heard of Disney World. So they go to Disney World, they rent a car, they've had enough mouse for a while, so they get in their car, and where are they going to go next? Well, New Orleans sounds pretty good. So they get on the road, and they head west. And about halfway there is Franklin County.
Right.
We're-
Now,
we're
we talked
talking-
about I-10 earlier, but they also like to take the old road. So they
That's
like to
right.
come up US 19 over to 98 and do the coastal. And that's actually a scenic byway, which is so pretty. I was just on it the other day. I had some business down there, and traveled it, and it's gorgeous. But nonetheless, they like to go to the old little coastal towns and see what there is.
Right.
So they're traveling both ways.
And you know, so much of that part of Florida has a very strong European influence.
Yes.
You know, you go to Apalachicola, that was the cotton port
That
for the
was
South.
the big, big
But
cotton.
that cotton left here and went to England.
Yes, the king cotton.
That's right. So, and you go to Tarpon Springs, which is out of our territory, but actually Apalachicola again and Port St. Joe in that area was a sponge fishing
Right,
area.
right.
So, and those were Greeks that came over to do the sponge diving.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this thing, and just like I'm not Native American, but I'm German descent and English descent, and probably a wild Irishman somewhere thrown in. But I can relate to those people when they start telling about where they're from.
Yeah.
And then when you find out what they're interested in. And what they're interested in is the natural part of this state, this part of Florida.
Right.
And we are natural. We have so much here. And we
Well,
want to preserve
And so
it.
many people want the experience. It's the experiential trip. And that's what everybody is looking for. You know, like you said, a couple days at the big attractions, okay, and then they've had enough, and then they want to get out of that. They want to get out of the city. They want to go to the beach. They want to see what else there is around.
But you know, a few years ago, there was a man from out west that wanted to go cave diving.
No,
And he was
this
looking
is
for a
good
place to
story.
cave dive, and he was going to Jenny Springs down near Gainesville. but he found out the cave that he was going to dive in was murky, so he stopped off here in Jackson County. And where did he tell the rest of the story of Ed Sorensen?
Oh, it's such a good story. The story is about Ed Sorensen and of how he located here in Jackson County. And like you had said, he was on his way to Jenny Springs, and I think it was too cloudy or there was some reason he couldn't dive there. And a friend of his said, hey, you need to go up to Mariana and dive. You'll be amazed. Nobody knows about it. And it's awesome. It's a fabulous place to go. And he's like, okay, so he did. And he fell in love with it, and he's been here ever since. I call Ed Superman because he's phenomenal. He has a thriving business, and he's actually an international draw.
Right.
You know, he brings people over from Europe, Australia, all over.
Russia.
To cave dive in our caves.
Yeah. And if you see Ed headed to the airport, you never know where the people are coming from. But
Right, he goes and picks them up, yeah.
that's right. So we have these Vortex Springs over around Bonifay.
That's another beautiful
Is
one.
another place, and it's beautiful. It's not as highly used as ours is, but it's picking up, and the people there are excited about what's coming in the future for spring diving and cave diving. So we have these things. We've got something coming up too that's very unusual when it comes to fishing.
When it comes to fishing,
Yeah.
what's unusual about that?
Well, that's not what they use for bait, it's what they sit in. They're
Oh.
going to ride in kayaks, and they're going to fish our rivers and lakes from kayaks.
Oh.
Bass fish, you know, and they're going to film it, and it's going on TV, you know, maybe up there with Mayberry RFD, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'd say in another 6 months or so, you'll see us on the air,
Right.
and it's they're paddling our lakes and rivers.
That's right.
And like you had said, they're going to fish, and they're going to do some expos and little sound bites of the area. They're going to get out of the boat and then tell about it and give some.
And they want to go where? Seacrest Wolf Preserve. They told us that.
Do they
this
pay
morning.
you?
Oh, yeah. They give me free T-shirts every once in a while when they find some with holes in them. But this is something that's so unusual. We have bass tournaments all the time at Lake Seminole.
We do.
It's big money. Big money for the area. People enjoy fishing. They spend a lot of money. Those boats are $60,000 or $70,000 a piece. Come in a week early to pre-fish. Hope to catch a bass that they're not going to cook and eat, my father would think there was something wrong with them if they did that. But this is so different, the kayak bass fishing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be around when the wind comes up, but they're going to do that. They're going to do it on the Apalachicola River, Lake Seminole. Apalachicola River, by the way, is the state's largest river.
Yes.
And
Yes,
they're
and it
gonna
just
do it
received some
there.
press lately.
And then they're going over to the Choctawhatchee and do the
And do
same
some
thing,
more.
and it's going to be filmed, and it's going out wherever people see that kind of thing.
And we'll put it on our YouTube channel.
That's right,
And
whatever that is.
Yeah.
I think we're getting the wave off here.
Well, we
5
have a
minutes. He
lot
says
of great
5
things coming
minutes.
up.
I've got 6 fingers on this hand. Okay.
So with our partnership with Visit Florida, let's jump back to that because
All
that
right.
is such an exciting thing. Like we had mentioned, we're going to 5 shows, and the 5 shows are travel, camping, and RV related.
Right.
So we're more specific within the ones that we're going to. We thought we have a lot of draw for those, especially in our inland. And actually on the coast too, there's some beautiful camping parks down there. So there's different parts of our board will be attending these, telling them, and then we can't wait to watch the numbers rise.
I visited a small, for now, center for recreation vehicles, RVs. It's called the Hitching Post. It's down here on Highway 231. But the novel thing about it is that they're catering to people that have horses.
Oh.
So they're going to have a corral there. And this is something new, but we're welcoming things that are new that come in that attract attention. And if I had to do a special advertising show and could reach the people, I would have a little voice telling his dad and his mother after they'd just been to Blue Springs and gotten sunburned, Dad, let's stay one more day. And if we can convince people in this part of the state to stay one more day, we're going to get our share of that 3 million cars that come through.
Right.
And it's going to be, it won't be the big bucks that maybe a car manufacturer would bring in, but it's going to be good money, and it's going to provide employment, and we'll still have what we had when you and I were growing up. Not when I was growing up, we had Indians when I was growing up. But I want one thing left, and in this, our goals and objectives, would like to end with this, if I can find it.
Okay. This is a nice booklet that was put together for Riverway South.
This is
gorgeous.
one that we hand out, and it's very, very good. But and I'll not find it without my glasses. But where is our?
Each page depicts a different region, and it tells about the trails, the fishing, the beaches.
And we've got something that's in writing that I like to emphasize. We got cows. Everybody likes cows, but we intend to become the premier rural tourism destination in the state of Florida.
That's right.
That's our intention.
That's right.
We're that close to it right now. I think we're there because I had a friend who does reenactments. He was down at a reenactment below Tampa recently, and he told, it was my grandson who had the man in charge of that particular part says, what's your last name? And he told him, he said, oh, I've heard about your father. I'm in tourism down here. Well, what he had heard about was Riverway South.
Okay.
Not me related to that.
And you know, we never said our tagline. Our tagline is Explore Our Florida.
And with italics there on that.
Explore Our Florida.
Can't say it any better than that.
Well, what we'll need to do is a follow-up after we come back from our trade shows and let everybody know how well it went and what our new endeavor is. One quick thing we didn't mention was we have also partnered with TripShock, and they are adding to our website where you can make reservations with the outfitters on things to do in one location.
And this is more than just an overnight reservation for a hotel. It's not.
Oh, right. This is for the outfitters.
That's right, for the outfitters, the canoe people that
helping the small guy,
canoes.
helping the small business owners because they're busy out there guiding and can't always answer the phone. So this will help. They can do things online.
TripShock's well known in West Florida for this kind of service, and we're very proud that we've signed with them.
Yeah, we have a lot going on.
Yes, we do.
It's good. It's all good in Riverway South.